we do this, don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. We want you to get nourished. Now the fun part is to talk about these young athletes, as London mentioned. We're going to start with the Maryland High School Player of the Year. And Player of the Year, it's just incredible. The level, I know this is the basketball bedrock of talent. The DMV, I figured that out in 1980 when I got here. I go, wow, it's a hoops bonanza because you got dominant levels of basketball, high school, college, all the way through. It's pretty exceptional. Football is on such an up, and it's underrated, and I think the whole nation is finding out now, especially from our youth levels, and it's happened at the grassroots level, that our youth are making a big mark in Maryland, the district, and of course in Virginia. This young man, Bentley, he plays at a school that, Mr. Wooden, I think you kind of familiar with it, DeMatha Catholic. And Morgan and I go back a long, long way, and he's been so nice because he allowed a young guy with a vision about doing a show to honor retired players and coaches for me to do his story very early in our existence. And to do everyone, you got to do your research. And I knew Morgan was exceptional as hoops. When I found out he started in football, I said, well, that explains it. No wonder he's a good basketball coach. I mean, you started the toughest sport, everything else from that point is a breeze. You go from 50 guys to 12, piece of cake. And it really started solidifying. I always thought about Morgan, football guy. And this young man I know is a Stag, you made you proud. Two-time All-Met. To make it once is great. He's a big kid. I can't imagine a high school kid, 6'3", 249. That to me is, I thought I was large, considered large at 210 back in high school. The tackles, 113 tackles, 26 for losses. And London will tell you, we saw London's highlight film, and that's when defense is taking enemy yardage away. That's what counts. And so I got a chance to see this young man play in person. He's headed to be a Boilermaker at Purdue University. I'd like to bring up Bentley. DeJuan Bentley, come on up, DeJuan. I'm struggling with these trophies. Thank God they're light this time. DeJuan, I did this thing wrong. With London, see, Josh, whatever mistake I make, and I'm going to make it for you, he comes over and corrects me. The trophy is supposed to be presented before you go. So we're going to do this right with London. I did it wrong. We're going to stand here. I'm going to give you this trophy. You can watch this guy right there. 1, 2, 3, there's one, last one. Here we go. We got it. This is your platform. Okay. We're going to defer to you and let you do your thing.
Good evening. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. Without him, none of this would be possible. Sorry to disappoint, but my speech won't be half as long as Mr. Fletcher's.
It better be.
Wasn't necessarily prepared to give a speech. First, I'll start by saying that football in the beginning, I started when I was in the 6th grade. Football was not the sport for me. You couldn't pay me to play football. And then one day, my little brother, he's sitting over there, he decided to try out for flag football. And then that brought me to the field. I had to go see him practice. But I did not want to go to the football field because I knew, as big as I am, if somebody see me, they're going to try to make me play football. So I did not want to go up there. But I went, and my older cousin went with me. And when I went, like I knew, the guys came over there and they tried to talk me into playing. I said, no, I'm not playing. I'm not playing at all. You can't pay me to step on there. But when I went over there, my cousin suited up and he was like, all right, you don't have to play, but just try on the uniform. Just try on the uniform. I was like, okay. I'm telling you, I'm not playing. So I stood there with the uniform on, and to make sure I didn't get in, I stood behind one of the coaches the entire practice. They didn't even know I was there. But on and on from there, my seventh grade year, I finally made a huge collision. And when I did that, somebody noticed it. One of the coaches on a varsity program of the Boys and Girls Club team I played for. And when I got the credit that I made the big hit, I was like thrilled. I drive from it, and on from there I played varsity. I was an offensive tackle then on a huge team. Some guys who went on to play at great teams during college, and guys who I'm playing with now. But on from there, my 8th grade year, I played linebacker and running back, and that's when DeMatha Catholic High School had came and saw me play. I actually ran for 12 touchdowns that season and was a great linebacker. And on to my career at DeMatha, my freshman year, I wore number 66. 66 was my number. And when he was talking about it, I was just sitting there laughing. I was like, oh, that has to be a coincidence that me and him wore the same number. Well, I wore 66, and I was a defensive tackle. I was 5'10", 245 then, and I was a defensive tackle. And that whole season, I played beside Orlando Brown, Big Zeus, his son. I played next to him. Me and him were the 2 defensive tackles. And the drive I got from that, I definitely knew DeMatha Catholic High School was a place for me. All the tradition with Brian Westbrook coming out, Josh Wilson, Cameron Wake, so many great names coming out. I was thinking, why can't I be next? Why can't I be the next one? We have so many pictures of those guys. I want my face to be right there next to those guys. On my varsity career, I finally, when Coach Bill McGregor left, Coach Brooks stepped right in. And me and Coach Brooks have a lot of history. He actually trained me before I got to DeMatha Catholic High School, so I thought that was a coincidence as well. But it was truly a blessing being with Coach Brooks and the coaching staff. Coach Brooks has been like a second dad to me. Me and my family, we've been through a lot in the last 4 years. These 4 years probably the toughest 4 years of my life. And I've learned so much from it, so much things I've learned from these 4 years, with not only at DeMatha, but in life. My sophomore year, I had a tragic injury. I tore my ACL, and I tore it in 7-on-7 practice, so I didn't even make it to the season. So I sat out the entire year watching my teammates play, and that might have been the hardest thing I've ever had to do, ever in my life. Seeing them play every single game, I went to every single practice, because if I had sat home, there's no telling what I would have done. There's no telling what kind of thoughts would have climbed into my head, things like that. I just wanted to stay positive, and I brought myself to that field every day, and I watched. And every time I watched, I seen little mistakes. I was like, oh, I know what I could do to get that better. London Fletcher probably doesn't know this, but I've watched every game he has played in. His first game as St. Louis Ram, I watched that entire game just to watch him play. And from then, and then I watched the Redskins-Cowboys game. I'm actually a Cowboys fan. Yeah. Sorry to disappoint, but I'm a Cowboys fan. But I didn't like the Cowboys season this year, but I enjoyed.
Which one in the last 18 years have you liked that?
I enjoyed watching them play. I watched every Redskin game just to watch London Fletcher play. His effort in all the plays are just amazing. I believe that I thought he was the best linebacker in the NFL for a long time. And for him to play all those years, I think it's just amazing. And I'm not just saying that because he's sitting here. But like back to what I was saying with my DeMatha career, my senior year this season, I stepped up and I was elected captain for the second year. My junior year, I was elected by a lot of seniors, and I felt that I was in no place to be a captain of guys who were older than me, first of all, and guys who are a lot bigger than me. I'm looking like, what do you guys see in me that I could possibly lead you, and you're 3 times my size? So I looked at those guys, and I looked at Coach Brooks, and I never told him this, but every time he looked at us and expected things from us, twice, like everything he said, I doubled that and I expected that out of myself. Everything he did, I tried to model myself after that. I wanted to be that guy that everyone looked to. I wanted to be the guy who could possibly have all the answers. There's no way I could possibly do that, but I wanted to strive to do that. A lot of my teammates now, they make a whole lot of jokes, say how strong I am. I broke one of the coaches' bench press record for 225 reps. I actually did it 22 times. It was on the sheet, it says 21, but I did it 22. Yeah. And that was something that I worked towards. During my sophomore year, I couldn't do anything too much with my legs. So I was like, since I can't do anything, I might just switch them up. I would do arms. So all I did was push-ups, sit-ups. That's all I could do. A lot of push-ups I did with one leg up because I couldn't put the leg down. But I learned so much. And for me to break that record, I actually, in my room alone, I cried. All I could do was cry because God has been so good to me that he thought it not robbery to give me a second chance at the game. He thought it not robbery to give me a shot at DeMatha. I never would have thought I would be at DeMatha High School. And on my college decision, I had Maryland and Iowa as my top two colleges I was going to choose from. And I'm a praying little boy. My mom and my grandma, they raised me to pray. So everything I do, I pray about it. And my mom, she said, just pray about a decision, because I was stuck between the two. So I asked God, I was like, which school do you think I should go to? Whatever school you need me to go to, reveal it to me now. And within 1 week, both of those schools went off the table. And I was like, where do I go from here? You just took both of them off the table. So unless you have a huge decision, I need an explanation. So I was sitting, I was like, so what do I do? What do I do? And this was in the middle of my senior season. So I was like, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not even going to worry about it. I asked him to do it, and I guarantee he's going to come through for me. So I did everything I could. I practiced as hard as I could. No one on the team knew that both of those scholarships were off the table, but I knew, and Coach Brooks knew, and I kept it to myself, and I just did everything in my power to make sure that I had another school on the table. And within another week at that, Purdue gave me a call, and they said, we want you here. We want you at our school, and I believe you can make a difference. And from there, when I went on the campus and I seen a beautiful, amazing campus at Purdue, and I met with Coach Darryl Hazel, who's the head coach. I met those guys, and I was like, my mom and my godmom went with me, and they looked at the campus, and they saw everything. And my mom, she's not a big fan of me going too far away to Indiana. So I looked at her, and she was like, if I ever wanted you to go anywhere far, it would be here. So I prayed about that. And then I prayed about it in my head while I was walking around looking at the campus. And then on that day, I felt that God told me to commit there. And I committed on my official visit, which was just an amazing feeling for me and an amazing feeling for my family. So I would like to thank the Touchdown Club for such a humbling opportunity to be in front of you guys, giving this speech that I was not prepared for, but I feel like I'm pretty close to what London did, so I'm pretty close. So again, I would like to thank you guys. I would like to thank London Fletcher for being such an inspiration in my life. You probably never seen me in your life, and this is my first time actually seeing you. And to be in front of you is just an amazing feeling. And I would like to thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations, job well done. I dare any of you out there that could match that presentation speech in high school. Raise your hands if you'd have been capable in high school of doing that. I'm putting my hands behind my back. My teeth would have been chattering. I would have been a wreck, Cato June, you beast. We got a lot of linebackers in here today, but this is scary. Volatile people. That young man is so inspiring, and that's another tribute to this event, that it has a platform. You need a platform in order to display your talent. His parents, I commend you, because that job starts at home. And then you gave coaches something to work with. You know, I know every coach in here wants a kid that he can coach, that will allow him to coach. You know, discipline should not be taught at school or at practice. It should be taught at home and then displayed at school and displayed at practice. That young man's, he's special. This next young man, thank you. Get a little closer to my neck of the woods out in Virginia. And a good friend of mine, former teammate in our championship team in '83, Brian Carpenter, his son went to Briarwood. I kept hearing Briarwood. So I'm like, God, had a good season when I go, okay. I go, how'd Briarwood do again? Oh, they won it all again. I said, what? Every time hey, how'd Briarwood doing? Oh, they won it all again. I said, this is crazy. How they doing? Now I know why. Tracy McSorley, quarterback. We get to now one of the, quote, they always call offense skilled players. That's not always true. But in this case, it is. And this young man, 4-year starter at quarterback. The most impressive year for me is his freshman year. Because when you talk about a junior being in awe of seniors giving him the captain role, imagine stepping into a huddle as a freshman. And that to me is over. I remember that feeling because I said, I don't think so. Because like London, back in the day, you play a little quarterback and you figure out the quarterback's okay until it's live and your offensive line's not very good. Then you decide real quickly that I'm not cut out for this because getting hit from the blind side takes more courage than anything you can imagine. This young man at Briarwood, 4-year starter, led the team to state championship as a freshman, sophomore, and a junior, and he lost in the state finals as a senior. Stand up if you've done that. Anybody can equal that? Tell you what, this young man, he got it done. He set state records for completions, second all-time in the state, passing yardage. It's just a tribute that he also started at safety as a junior. It's just first team, two-time all-state participant, and he's headed to Happy Valley. He had surgery on his non-throwing arm, so he'll be okay. But Coach Franklin really got a champion right here with Mr. McSorley. Come on up, young man, and get your award. Job well done.
First, I'd like to thank DC Touchdown Club for this amazing award. My head coach, Coach Pierce, let me know it was a big shock for me. It was just, very honoring to be, part of something like this. I also like to thank London Fletcher. You wouldn't know this, but I actually passed you in a massage envy once. Still awestruck, starstruck to see you there. Being right in Ashburn, seeing some guys like that, so being able to see you there was pretty awesome for me. As I said, I started as a freshman year, and first thing that comes to my mind was my first game. We had a workhorse running back that unfortunately had gone down on his very first carry of the season, broke his leg, and I was opposed to Jawan being 5'10", 245. I was 5'10", 150, soaking wet. It was a big thing for me to just kind of have that, have my teammates' faith to come in and be the starting quarterback and lead us to an amazing 4-year run as a quarterback at Briarwoods. I'd like to also thank my parents raising me how they have, raising me to be a humble young man, and always pushing me academics first. That's always been the number one thing for us as a family. I could never go to practice as youth league without getting my homework done first. If anything ever came up, my dad was real quick to keep me out of practice and not let me practice, so kept me straight. And the one person I really do want to thank is my head coach, Coach Pierce. He's a great man. He's actually here with me today. Great man, great family man, and he lives out in Maryland, makes a commute to Virginia every day. He's gone through a lot, and to spend the kind of time he has with our team, and me personally, just making me into the young man that I am today, and forming me into the person that I will become. I can't say thank you enough, Coach. So I don't have a big long speech like all the other guys, but thank you. Thank you.
You know Alden?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know Alden.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
That's holler than me sing. Love that boy. That's strong. That's strong. Another very impressive young man. It's this is great. He tried to break. I guess we'll start calling it from now on to just awards. We'll come up with a new title called a Fletcher, and so we'll make sure the guy comes up does a Fletcher. That'll be our new deal. Coach Stewart gets up here. I might have to leave the room, the whole room, boy, when Coach Stewart gets up here. Next young man, Payne, who we're supposed to have Skyped in. Josh, how are we on that? We're hoping. We got it? Thumbs up? So we'll be able to get him via Skype. This young man at HD Woodson, wide receiver, defensive back, triple threat. We call him a playmaker. There he is. Look at him. He's a Tennessee Volunteer on the campus, and we're so happy to have him here and to have him as our DC most valuable player in the district. This kid, two-time All-Met, scored 11 touchdowns this past season. Just happy to see him. His parents are here. Walter and Amy, where are you? Y'all wave your hand. There you go. All right. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, DeAndre, we've got 7,000 people here tonight. They're all watching you right now, and the floor is yours. Take it away. Oh, hold it. DeAndre, hold tight. We're gonna have to have a rewind, DeAndre. We got a little technical. Let's see if we can get some sound going. We got to give us a test 1, 2, 3, DeAndre. You have it? Last Skype deal, we had the Watkins Awards a couple weeks ago. Great award, and we had Skyped in young man at Florida State quarterback. Winston came in. It worked out great. I was bragging on Skype. You think we got it? Be patient with it. At least you look good, dog. That's the most important thing. You know what I mean? That's half of it. The technology. We're going to try it again? Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring up Walter and Amy, and we'll leave this good-looking young man in the background, and we're going to bring you folks up. Would you please come up and accept the award? Thank you very much. Walter and Amy, Payne, and DeAndre, your folks look good. They did a great job. You've got a beautiful trophy. And I don't know if Steve Beck is behind this and deserves credit or not, but those things used to weigh a ton, and now they don't. Thank you. Thank you for that. Well, I wanted to ask them how the Volunteers are going to be this year. I know they're going to come back. Just nod your head if Tennessee is back. There we go. All right, young man. Thank you very much. Hit them books. Go Vols. Boy, that's good stuff. That is good.